The family of the Tathagatas. Then the crown prince Manjushri said to the Lachavi Vimalakirti, Noble sir, how does the Bodhisattva follow the way to attain the qualities of a Buddha? Vimalakirti replied, Manjushri, when the Bodhisattva follows the wrong way, he follows the way to attain the qualities of the Buddha. Manjushri continued, How does the Bodhisattva follow the wrong way? Vimalakirti replied, Even should he enact the 5 deadly sins, he feels no malice, violence, or hate. Even should he go into the hells, he remains free of all taint of afflictions. Even should he go into the states of the animals, he remains free of darkness and ignorance. When he goes into the states of the azures, he remains free of pride, conceit, and arrogance. When he goes into the realm of the Lord of Death, he accumulates the stores of merit and wisdom. When he goes into the states of motionlessness and immateriality, he does not dissolve therein.
I'm confused because these are all the wrong ways, Vimalakirti is saying, but they all seem like good ways.
There's got to be a punchline coming.
Okay, are you confused too?
Well, I was confused too,
Yeah.
but it reminded me of like I used that young Swedish environmental activist Greta.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, she's angry. You know, and she's kind of doing some things that would be considered malice, but they're not for the purposes of malice. So even if we're doing one of these deadly sins, it may not be with the purpose of overall damage, I guess. Or I guess that's the way I was feeling it.
I think Flint would probably agree with this too.
Mm.
Not agree that you should be a human being.
Right.
Okay, I'll read.
Um,
Hi,
could it,
Starlet.
hi. um, could it be the possibility that following the wrong way is because they have not become bodhisattvas yet? What it says is when the bodhisattva follows the wrong way, he follows the way to attain the qualities of the Buddha, and that's how everybody follows until they become wise enough to become a bodhisattva, don't they? They're just, we're just doing it the wrong way because we don't know any better.
Well, and I think what's embedded in this, as I keep rereading these lines, that even doing something, quote, wrong, there is the opportunity to find the right result out of it.
Oh, I know
So
what you
that,
mean.
yeah, I mean, like, okay, so I had an alcoholic father, and he was violent, and he would hit our mother, he would hit us, and those were all negative things. But I learned from watching that negative behavior how not to be a man and what things not to do instead of following those things. So it's like even if you're engaged in some of those things, at some point you might get to the point of having that realization that this is not the way to be, and that the other direction or coming the other side of it is the thing that will move you forward towards your endeavors to get Buddhahood.
Quick question, because I'm Catholic. I know what we consider the 7 deadly sins, but I don't know what are the 5 deadly sins here.
Hmm.
Just a second. I will find out.
came to the rescue. Thank you.
No, I'm not the one to the rescue. Okay, here's the five heinous crimes. I better put Buddhism. No, I did. Killing one's mother, father, killing an arhat, maliciously injuring the Buddha, creating a schism. Yeah, this is it. Creating a schism in the Sangha.
Okay, I can agree. Those are not good things to do.
But it's interesting that the schism in the Sangha is one of the worst things you can do, deliberately causing division among fully ordained monks and nuns. Why these are considered so grave? They directly attack the deepest sources of goodness. Parents who give life and nurture, the enlightened Arhats Buddha, who embody ultimate compassion and wisdom, the Sangha, which preserves and transmits the Dharma. These actions are said to produce immediate karmic consequences without the usual delay. Hence the term anarchia means without interval. And not the same as the Christian seven deadly sins: pride, greed, lust.
Yeah, there's certain circumstances when any of the deadly sins can have a good connotation, like you were saying earlier before, Casey, about Greta with anger, but um, killing somebody is already, you know, that's a lot. But and if it is your parents, yeah, even though there's always an exception.
Okay, shall I read?
Yes. Well, I didn't read. Oh, yeah. Have you read yet, Ed?
No.
Okay.
So it's Cassie. Donna's not reading. So yeah, I guess it would be me then. He may follow the ways of desire, yet he stays free of attachment to the enjoyments of desire. He may follow the ways of hatred, yet he feels no anger to any living being. He may follow the ways of folly, yet he is ever conscious with the wisdom of firm understanding. He may follow the ways of avarice, yet he gives away all internal and external things without regard even for his own life. He may follow the ways of immorality, yet, seeing the horror of even the slightest transgressions, he lives by the ascetic practices and austerities. He may follow the ways of wickedness and anger, yet he remains utterly free of malice and lives by love. He may follow the ways of laziness, yet his efforts are uninterrupted as he strives in the cultivation of roots of virtue. He may follow the ways of sensuous distraction, yet naturally concentrated, his contemplation is not dissipated. He may follow the ways of false wisdom, yet, having reached the transcendence of wisdom, he is expert in all mundane and transcendental sciences.
This is very strange.
I gotta say, I don't know how this is possible.
What, that these are all bad things?
Well, no, they're bad things except for lust. But yeah, they're bad things. Um, but how you can follow them, and if by following he means indulging in them, um, I just don't see how that works out. You can indulge in all of these things, but not have any relational consequences in the indulgence. I don't know. He's got me on this one.
He may show the ways of sophistry and contention, yet he is always conscious of ultimate meanings and has perfected the use of liberative arts. He may show the ways of pride, yet he serves as a bridge and ladder for all people. He may show the way of the passions, yet he is utterly dispassionate and naturally pure. He may follow the ways of the Maras, yet he does not really accept their authority in regard to his knowledge of the qualities of the Buddha. He may follow the ways of the disciples, yet he lets living beings hear the teaching they have not heard before. He may follow the ways of the solitary sages, yet he is inspired with great compassion in order to develop all living beings. He may follow the ways of the poor, yet he holds in his hand a jewel of inexhaustible wealth. He may follow the ways of cripples, yet he is beautiful and well adorned with the auspicious signs and marks. He may follow the way of the lowly birth, yet through his accumulation of the stores of merit and wisdom, he is born in the family of the Tathagatas. He may follow the ways of the weak, the ugly, and the wretched, yet he is beautiful to look upon, and his body is like that of Narayana.
I would like to point out that everything that is being said here is non duality. It's the black and the white at the same time. Neither black or white, but both. So even though this person is following everything that is wrong to do, at the same time, they're not.
It's a good point. He may manifest to living beings the way of the sick and the unhappy, yet he has entirely conquered and transcended the fear of death. He may follow the ways of the rich, yet he is without acquisitiveness, and often reflects upon the notion of impermanence. He may show himself engaged in dancing with harem girls, yet he cleaves to solitude, having crossed the swamp of desire. He follows the way of the dumb and the incoherent, yet having acquired the power of incantations, he is adorned with a varied eloquence. He follows the way of outsiders without ever becoming an outsider. He follows the way of the world, yet he reverses all states of existence. He follows the way of liberation without ever abandoning the progress of the world. Manjushri, thus does the Bodhisattva follow the wrong ways, therefore following the way to the qualities of the Buddha. Then Lilachavi Vimalakirti said to the Crown Prince Manjushri.
Wait. That's so he's saying that the qualities of the Buddha are not good too.
No, he's saying that they're taking the wrong path, but it ends up taking them to the same place that is a good one.
So the question that I have here is the meaning behind follow and follow the wrong ways. Does that mean maybe just being aware of those things and having a sensitivity and an understanding to those things versus actually indulging in those things? So he's aware of the harem girls and stuff, but he's not actually going out and clubbing every night. I wish I could get an original, more literal translation, perhaps, to follow the wrong ways.
Or that we're all going to do something like this at some point, and we don't have to then, cast ourselves out in some kind of way if we do, that it's about repair, that you then are following the Buddha because you're going to do these things and you're going to repair
And not clinging.
and not clinging,
I
calling
like that.
myself a name because of something. And we're
He,
going
I
to,
like,
we're going to, we're going to
he,
falter.
I think he's making a real argument for lay practice versus being a monk.
Huh. There's a concept.
Okay, is it my turn?
Not
oh,
yet.
Oh,
when is my turn?
Oh, Scarlett, I'm sorry. I must have skipped you. I went right after Kim.
I didn't know when to go, so somebody tell me when, and I'll go.
after
You're
me,
after
you're
Kim.
after, yeah,
You're
Oh,
after me, Starlet, I think. No, after Kim. No, after,
yeah.
yeah, after Kim.
Yep, Kim.
All
okay.
right.
So
And so Cassie just did it. I'll
Yeah,
read.
but we should probably, but Starlet got missed. So she could catch up now and then we could be in the proper rhythm.
Go for it.
okay. Then the Vimalakirti said to the crown prince Manjushri, what is the family of the Tathagatas? Manjushri replied, Noble sir, noble sir, the family of the Tathagatas consists of all basic egoism, of ignorance and the thirst for existence, of lust, hate, and folly, of the four misapprehensions, of the five obscurities, of the six sense media, of the seven abodes of consciousness, of the eight perverse paths, of the nine causes of irritation, of the paths of 10 sins. Such is the family of the Tathagatas. In short, noble sir, the 62 kinds of convictions constitute the family of the Tathagatas. I am so lost. I thought the Tathagatas was a good place.
The Tathagata is a word for Buddha, and a lot of times it's Buddha uses that word to speak about him in the third person. But the family of Tathagatas, I would think, would be Buddhas, past, present, and future, not actually his family.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like somebody I would like to meet.
Okay. Uh,
So,
I think that for me, it's about acceptance that these people aren't, only ignorant and only full of lust and only hating, but that, we might, do something of one of these things and then start self-judging ourselves and then, you know, uh, using that as a second arrow. Whereas you might do those things and then notice what you need to repair and then start repairing.
you know that term goody two shoes.
What do you
okay.
do?
So basically, Casey, what you're also saying is acceptance. That if you make a mistake, that's okay. Let's keep moving, fix it, not do it again, but not.
And it's not that, yeah, and it's not like our to take it into shame. Like I am bad or I did this bad thing. There's a real big difference between, oh, I didn't act the way I really wished I should have, I wished I could have acted in that particular moment, but I did that, and the next time that happens, I'm going to be more aware of it. But not that, because that is our learning process.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying, and I agree with you. The thing is that everybody has the per, everybody can do any of the things that they're talking about there, and at the same time, we can all come back from it.
Ed, you're looking up for something. What's up there? There's a thought up there. I can see it.
Oh, you're muted.
That's when I do my best work. Now, I was just, I did a quick look to see if I could find something in terms of a more literal translation of follow in Buddhist text. And what came up really didn't do anything to enlighten me or make any more sense to it.
Well, now we're going into a dialogue. Do we want to have two different people?
It's
Or
not,
no?
yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
long stuff. So I don't think it's not a back and forth dialogue.
well, I think it's your turn, Kim.
Well, okay. Manjushri, with what in mind do you say so? Manjushri, noble sir, one who stays in the fixed determination of the vision of the created is not capable of conceiving the spirit of unexcelled perfect enlightenment. However, one who lives among created things in the minds of passions without seeing any truth is indeed capable of conceiving the spirit of unexcelled perfect enlightenment.
Kim, the first one was uncreated.
Oh, what did I say?
Created.
Oh, a different take. Okay. So now back to Cassie.
Noble sir, flowers like the blue lotus, the red lotus, the white lotus, and the water lily, and the moon lily do not grow on the dry ground in the wilderness, but do grow in the swamps and mud banks. Just so, the Buddha qualities do not grow in living beings, certainly destined for the uncreated, but do grow in those living beings who are like swamps and mud banks of passions. Likewise, as seeds do not grow in the sky but do grow in the earth, so the Buddha qualities do not grow in those determined for the absolute, but do not grow in those who conceive the spirit of enlightenment, but do grow, thank you, in those who conceive the spirit of enlightenment after having produced a Sumera like mountain of egotistic views. Noble sir, these considerations, one can understand that all passions constitute the family of the Tathagatas. Just as, noble sir, without going into the great ocean, it is impossible to find precious, priceless pearls. Likewise, without going into the ocean of passions, it is impossible to obtain the mine of omniscience.
So maybe that's the explanation
Yeah.
that they've been denying passion. Do you all know the story of the there's a monk in the hut and an old woman and a granddaughter, a beautiful, voluptuous granddaughter. And every day the granddaughter goes to give food to the monk, and every day he never makes a pass. Do you guys know this story?
No.
And he's so proud that he's a stone Buddha. And when the grandmother finally realizes what's going on, that he's not tempted by this woman, she burns the hut down and throws him out.
What? So, an explanation, please?
Well, it's exactly what we're reading about. That I don't know what would have been the appropriate response for this monk. I've never figured that out. But certainly being a stone Buddha is not the way.
Uh, And isn't that just a reflection of what happened with Gautama himself when he left the palace and he first started seeing things? Like he had no idea what the hell a dead body was, never seen one. And then he went through all of those things where he engaged to excess and being an ascetic and being totally hedonistic and went through all of those passions and finally got himself to a place where he was, that's not the answer. I can't do it by going down one of those paths. When he came to sit under the Bodhi tree, that's when things started to click.
So we're talking about the middle way, that you can't be all one, you can't be all the other.
Exactly. I was just going to say
Yeah.
that, the middle way.
Yep.
And it's also about, in order to gain wisdom, you have to live.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. Do you want to see the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found it.
By the way, Ed, how are you doing? I just saw you drink, and I just got reminded. And I'm
I'd
sorry.
like to say I'm indulging in the excess and drinking wine, but I'm doing okay. Thank you
Oh,
for.
good. Blanche Hartman has a comment on it. In the well-known Zen story, The Old Woman Who Burns Down the Monk's Hut, a monk has been supported in his solitary meditation for 20 years by a local woman. To test his spiritual progress, the woman sends a young, beautiful girl to his hut to tempt him. The story unfolds as follows. The girl arrives and embraces the monk, asking him, "What now?" The monk replies, "A withered tree among frozen rocks, not a trace of warmth for 3 winters." He declares his complete lack of desire. The girl reports this to her mother, the old woman. Outraged, the old woman realizes she has spent 20 years supporting a man with no wisdom or compassion. Isn't this exactly the same story that we're reading? She goes to the hut, beats the monk with a broom, evicts him, and burns his hut down to the ground. The
Oh,
koan's
wow.
purpose is not to condemn the monk for resisting temptation, but to expose a deeper spiritual flaw. His declaration of being like a withered, cold tree reveals his detachment, and it is exactly the middle way thing, too, that Cassie mentioned. Reveals his detachment to a state of lifeless depression rather than genuine, compassionate, and engaged enlightenment. Zen teacher Zenke Blanche Hartman explained the deeper meaning. Having few desires doesn't mean suppressing our humanness. Instead of shutting us down, we should develop through Zen practice more gratitude, more appreciation, more aliveness for life. The monk's response demonstrated a victory of dead suppression rather than a transcendence that is warm, alive, and full of kindness. That's a nice explanation. And I don't know if you know this about Blanche Hartman's daughter.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, well, Starlet doesn't. She uh, made sex tapes, but it really was to inform people about the enjoyment and beauty of sexuality. I would not say they're pornography, but pretty close. But in a healthy way. If can you have pornography in a healthy way?
Well, just because they're supposed to be consensual sex, I assume.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, good. So now we'll go back. And it's interesting that a bodhisattva can be wrong.
Yeah.
Sure. Here we go. I think we read this, Noble Sir, right? Or did we?
Yeah, I ended with omniscient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then the elder Mahakasyapa applauded the crown prince Manjushri. Good, good, Manjushri. This is indeed well spoken. This is right. The passions do indeed constitute the family of the Tathagatas. How can such as we, the disciples, conceive the spirit of enlightenment or become fully enlightened in regard to the qualities of the Buddha? Only those guilty of the five deadly sins can conceive the spirit of enlightenment and can attain Buddhahood, which is the full accomplishment of the qualities of the Buddha. Just as the five desire objects have no impression or effect on those bereft of faculties, in the same way all the qualities of the Buddha have no impression or effect on the disciples, who have abandoned all adherences. Okay. Thus, the disciples can never apprentice those qualities.
Appreciate.
Ooh, there was my Freudian slip. Thus, the disciples can never appreciate those qualities.
So Kashyapa, Maha means great, but Kashyapa is the one who smiled when Buddha held up the flower.
And he gained enlightenment at that moment, right?
No, Buddha picked him to be his successor. I don't think I've never heard that, but um, but it kind of gives me kind of one more way that he's smiling at beauty.
Mm.
Um, this is reminding me. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the poem by Mother Teresa, "Do It Anyway." Um,
Ringing a bell.
is it okay if I read it?
Sure.
People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy it overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, they may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway.
Hmm.
In this case, I would say it could be said it was between you and life, I guess. But to me, this reminds me of her poem. Okay, so we're let me read. Just as the five desire objects have no impression or effect on those bereft of faculties, in the same way, all the qualities of the Buddha have no impression or effect on the disciples who have abandoned all adherences. Thus, the disciples can never appreciate those qualities. Oh, that's the one you just read. I'm sorry. Therefore, Manjushri, the ordinary individual, is grateful to the Tathagata, but the disciples are not grateful. Why? The ordinary individuals, upon learning of the virtues of the Buddha, conceive the spirit of unexcelled perfect enlightenment in order to ensure the uninterrupted continuity of the heritage of the three jewels. But the disciples, although they may hear of the qualities, powers, and fearlessness of the Buddha until the end of their days, are not capable of conceiving the spirit of unexcelled perfect enlightenment.
Is that me then? Thereupon the Bodhisattva Savarapasna Darsnana, who was present in that assembly, addressed the Lichavi Vimalakirti. Householder, where are your father and mother, your children, your wife, your servants, your maids, your laborers, and your attendants? Where are your friends, your relatives, and your kinsmen? Where are your servants, your horses, your elephants, your chariots, your bodyguards, and your bearers? Thus addressed, the Lichavi Vimalakirti spoke the following verses to the Bodhisattva Savarnapasamadarshana. Of the true Bodhisattvas, the mother is the transcendence of wisdom. The father is the skill of liberative technique. The leaders are born of such parents. Their wife is the joy of Dharma. Love and compassion are their daughters. The Dharma and the truth are their sons. And their home is deep thought of the meaning of voidness.
All the passions are their disciples, controlled at will. Their friends are the aids to enlightenment. Thereby they realize supreme enlightenment. Their companions, ever with them, are the six transcendences. Their consorts are the means of unification. Their music is the teaching of the Dharma. The incantations make their garden, which blossoms with the flowers of the factors of enlightenment, with trees of the great wealth of the Dharma and fruits of the gnosis of liberation. Their pool consists of the 8 liberations. Filled with the water of concentration, covered with the lotuses of the 7 purities, who bathes therein becomes immaculate. Their bearers are the 6 super knowledges. Their vehicle is the unexcelled Mahayana. Their driver is the spirit of enlightenment, and their path is the Eightfold Peace. Next.
Their ornaments are the auspicious signs, and the 80 marks their garland in virtuous aspiration, and their clothing is good conscience and consideration. Their wealth is the holy Dharma, and their business is its teaching. Their great income is pure practice, and it is dedicated to the supreme enlightenment. Their bed consists of the 4 contemplations, and its spread is the pure livelihood. And their awakened consists of gnosis, which is constantly learning and meditation. Starlet?
Their food is the ambrosia of the teachings, and their drink is the juice of liberation. Their bath is pure aspiration. and morality their unguent and perfume. Having conquered the enemy afflictions, they are the invincible heroes. Having subdued the four maras, they raise their standard on the field of enlightenment. They manifest birth voluntarily. Yet they are not born, nor do they originate. They shine in all the fields of the Buddhas, just like the rising sun. Casey.
Though they worship Buddhas by the millions with every conceivable offering, they never dwell upon the least difference between the Buddhas and themselves. They journey through all Buddha fields in order to bring benefit to living beings. Yet they see those fields as just like empty space, free of any conceptual notions of living beings. The fearless bodhisattvas can manifest all in a single instant. The forms, sounds, and manners of behaviors of all living beings. Although they recognize the deeds of the Maras, they can get along even with these Maras, for even such activities may be manifested by those perfected in liberative art. They play with illusionary manifestations in order to develop living beings, showing themselves to be old or sick, and even manifesting their own deaths. They demonstrate the burning of the earth in the consuming flames of the world's end in order to demonstrate impermanence to living beings convinced about permanence. Invited by hundreds of thousands of living beings, all in the same country, they partake of offerings at the homes of all.
And dedicate all for the sake of enlightenment. They excel in all esoteric sciences and in the many different crafts, and they bring forth the happiness of all living beings. By devoting themselves as monks to all the strange sects of the world, they develop all those beings who have attached themselves to dogmatic views. They may become suns or moons, Indras, Brahmas, or lords of creatures. They may become fire or water, or earth or wind. During the short eons of maladies, they become the best holy medicine. They make beings well and happy and bring about their liberation. During the short eons of famine, they become food and drink, having first alleviated thirst and hunger. They teach the Dharma to living beings. During the short eons of swords, they meditate on love, introducing to nonviolence hundreds of millions of living beings. I like that.
In
That
the middle of great battles, they remain impartial to both sides. For bodhisattvas of great strength delight in reconciliation of conflict. In order to help living beings, they voluntarily descend into the hells which are attached to all the inconceivable Buddha fields. They manifest their lives in all the species of the animal kingdom, teaching the Dharma everywhere. Thus they are called leaders.
They display sensual enjoyment to the worldlings and trances to the meditative. To meditative?
yeah.
They completely conquer the Maras and allow them no chance to prevail. Just as displaying a lotus amidst a fire is miraculous, so they display the miracles of both pleasures and trances. They intentionally become courtesans in order to win men over. and have caught them with the hook of desire. They establish them in the Buddha gnosis. In order to help living beings, they always become chieftains, captains, priests, and ministers, or even prime ministers. For the sake of the poor, they become inexhaustible treasures, causing those to whom they give their gifts to conceive the spirit of enlightenment. They become invincible champions for the sake of the proud and the vain. And having conquered all of their pride, they start them on the quest of enlightenment.
They always stand at the head of those terrified with fright, and, having bestowed fearlessness upon them, they develop them toward enlightenment. They become great holy men, with the super knowledges and pure continence, and thus induce living beings to the morality of tolerance, gentleness, and discipline. Here in the world, they fearlessly behold those who are masters to be served, and they become their servants or slaves or serve as their disciples. Well trained in liberative arts, they demonstrate all activities, whichever possibly may be a method to make beings delight in the Dharma. Their practices are infinite, and their spheres of influence are infinite. Having perfected an infinite wisdom, they liberate an infinity of living beings. Even for the Buddhas themselves, during 1,000,000 eons, or even 100,000,000 eons, it would be hard to express all their virtues.
Except for some inferior living beings without any intelligence at all, is there anyone with any discernment who, having heard this teaching, would not wish for supreme enlightenment?
It sounds like a lot of freedom.
What's,
I
what's
go
that
ahead.
song? Freedom, just another word for nothing left to lose?
Was that was Chris Christopherson?
Yeah, Bobby McGee.
Yeah.
Okay. Put your pen down, Kathy.
Just had that one thought, that one more. What was that ending?
You got another word to do?
No, I'm done.
Okay. Who'd like to share?
I guess I started. I'll share. You're doing it wrong has never been thought or expressed by Buddha or anyone serving Buddha nature. We are doing what needs to be done in that moment for our Buddhahood to grow and manifest. I might feel the second hour of regret, then I must choose to condemn myself for touching the hot stove or say that the stove is hot. The way of the Buddha is not to attach to how I learned the stove is hot, or beat myself over the head for not already knowing or for forgetting. The true meaning of humility is to not elevate oneself and to not put oneself below. Humility is the ability to see oneself in the true perspective and be at peace with it. That part is a quote. The humility is the ability to see oneself in the true perspective and be at peace with it, is from this book. True Bodhisattva, do this. Look to offer freedom. Unstick the stuck wheel. Wisdom and skillful means become the go-to resources. Not making someone right, not making somewhere wrong. What we partner with is joy, not judgment, not correction. A home of acceptance, openness, dancing with all that reminds of dancing with all that reminds us of connection. Every wallflower is plucked. Singing chants, embracing all of life. What we feel after is the grounding knowledge of all things, all parts of us are welcome.
Hmm.
Let me start it.
I would like to follow you. I think we were thinking we were in the same wavelengths. Uh, okay, where did it go? Here it is. Say yes to life. Just don't take it to the extreme. Indulge in a glass of wine. Just don't get drunk. Smile at a beautiful flower. Just don't try to stop time and let it wither. Live. Just live. Embrace the whole of yourself, even the swampy parts. Be the lotus, the leaves, the stalk, the roots, not just the flower. Thank you.
I'll give it a shot. I just did 3 bullet points. First one is not knowing is the most intimate. Second one, Buddhahood includes awareness of all things without being captive to or captivated by all things. And the third one was music is our life. No, the third one is freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. That was it.
I'd like a copy of those, Ed.
Okie doke.
Thank you.
Donna, do you want to share?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay, well, I can share. I don't think I'm. I tried so hard to be good, I was bad. So then I decided to be bad, and that didn't work either. So then I just became myself, and that worked much better. Why didn't anyone tell me? It would be so much easier to just stop trying so darn hard.
So, Kim, I've always wanted to know, are you using the brush tool and drawing and writing by hand?
Oh, no, no. I use a pencil. Oh, wait.
Oh, you scan a piece of paper to start and then make it from there? Yeah.
I have done, I'll show you a couple of pieces. So these were, I decided one summer I would start with one work of art and every day change it.
Oh, wow. Good practice.
Um, so, and it was done entirely in Photoshop. So that was one. I don't remember the order of these, and that was another.
All right.
But I had a teacher who used to say, a work of art is finished when none of the original idea remains. So that was kind of what I did. But anyway, so I've done that all Photoshop, but
Mhm.
but I like the pencil.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this was delightful again.
And before we go, I just want to acknowledge your labor for us, Kim. You show up all the time, and I see what you offer, and I just really want you to know that.
Well, thank you. But did you hear what I did this morning?
No.
I was a half hour late to
Oh,
Zazen, and it wasn't that I got up. I got up at like 6 minutes after 5, but my alarm from the weekend in Wisconsin was set at
yeah, another time.
another time, and I was all confused. And Susan was there as timekeeper, um, 15 minutes early, and I walked in, like confused. But also, um, I've was given a new koan by my koan teacher yesterday, and it was just like blowing my mind. And the koan is something like, become one with the sound of a distant temple bell. I should get it perfect. Just a second.
Okay.
I have it here because that wouldn't be fair. Here it is. How do you become one with the sound of a distant temple bell? And one thing that came to mind was there was a guy at the Austin Zen Center who would sit next to Kosho when he was giving Dharma talks, and he would look. I don't even know if his eyes were open, but he was completely in meditation during the entire Dharma talk. And there's this idea that I started reading about yesterday that kind of blew my mind, that rather than discern about a Dharma talk, you let it just flow through you.
Hmm.
And so really the idea of, well, we'll have questions afterwards is not in that tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I kept seeing my friend there like this during the entire Dharma talk. He didn't move a muscle. And so the connection to the koan is the distant temple bell is announcing a Dharma talk or announcing the Dharma.
That's great. And I love your story, and your analogy with it is fantastic.
Yeah,
Because
so
when
I
I
kept
first
seeing,
heard it,
I kept seeing, his name's Joe. I kept seeing Joe there,
Hmm.
uh, and it gave me a different idea about Dharma talks.
yeah,
The
and
how to
the
receive
experience.
it,
Yeah.
how to
Right.
receive it, or how to receive a photograph. And I've also been thinking about this woman I worked for. I did slides for her lectures, Minerva Pinnell, and she did Renaissance art history.
Oh, great.
And when I don't know what she said, but tears would flow down her face. She was so struck with the word. And it was a similar thing. Like, how do you look at a painting? Well, you let the tears roll down your face, as opposed to the analysis.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I appreciate those follow-up questions. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. And I want to say that I completely agree with what Casey said about you always being here like a rock.
Well, except for this morning.
Well,
Which makes it
nobody's
fit.
perfect.
which makes it fit. What makes it fit? It makes it perfect
Yes.
for the day.
Yeah, you're still a rock, and I want to echo that emotion. And this morning was just a tectonic shift in the rocks.
Yeah.
Flint used to give me the challenge of not showing up.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So this was a beautiful section we read today, I
It
think.
was. It was.
Yes. It has blown my mind. I always thought that my image of a Buddhist was very aesthetic, so very renouncing the world and not being impacted by it. But this is like, no, you keep living.
Yeah. So how should the monk in the hut have responded to the sexy lady?
I
With appreciation.
Yes,
Not
I
not necessarily lust or acquisition, but appreciation to feel that aliveness.
Risking being sent to jail by the Me Too generation. Right? That's a real tricky question. But
I I don't know the answer. I mean, I'm not.
the answer might, well, an option might be to thank her for her attention and her pointing
Oh no, that's not.
vintage.
I don't know. It's pretty tough. What would have convinced the old lady that his 20 years of her 20 years of support were worth it?
Maybe if he came on to the old lady and said, I like your daughter, but you, baby.
Age appropriate.
Yeah, I think he was
I
screwed from the get-go.
Well, I'm going to ask my wife,
Okay.
see what she says. Okay,
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
bye.
Thanks. Good to be with you. Bye.
I have a wonderful week.
You
Okay.
too.